Wrecked Nation, I get messages like this all the time. Introducing bands is great, but have you ever thought of introducing unknown solo artists on YouTube, the ones who do it all by themselves? Or, please promote my band, they're really good. Today I'm going to clue all you bands and artists and even future media hosts on how some of this promotion stuff really does work. I'm going to specifically go over how bands get onto Wrecked Radio, but a lot of these rules and practices are very similar across the board when it comes to radio or music business. To kind of give a warning, I have never been employed by a record company or another website other than my own, but I have worked with a lot of those professional companies and record labels when it came to doing business for Wrecked Radio. So before you spam another music blog with your new music video, take in some of these tips. Step 1, when you're trying to promote your music to other sites and or record labels or anybody that you're trying to get the attention of, contact the right person. When looking for info on how to contact a record label, a music blog, or a web show, there are 2 places where you should be checking in order to find the right person or the right way to contact somebody in charge. But before anything else, make sure you are going to the source, the official site. In this case, it would be WreckedRadio.net, where the web show, the news, the other Facebook and Twitter profiles, they all stem from there. It is not the message section of YouTube. Some shows may utilize that, but if the YouTuber that you're trying to contact or any kind of a social network that's connected to that, you're trying to contact them, make sure to go to the official site because that will give you the best kind of information. The first place to try to look for the right person is the contact or the About Us page. Most likely you will see an entire list of addresses, including site managers, tour managers, advertising, publicity, etc. If you're not sure who to talk to, most likely the site will have a frequently asked questions or FAQ or a Q&A site, question and answers, where it will tell you specifically what to do. Some contact pages have fill spaces where you can easily contact the website, but use this as a last resort if you cannot find a specific person to get in contact with. If you're not having any luck on the contact page or haven't found the person you think is the best to suit your needs, the next place you're going to go to is at the bottom of the page. This is, for example, where you would find specific information on how you promote with Wrecked Radio. Why at the bottom of the page? Well, on many websites, including rocker social networks, record label pages, or music blogs, the menu at the top of the page is for the fans. I mean, that's the primary reason why these sites were created in the first place, for fans to look up pics or music or news for their favorite artists. If you want to be on the opposite end of that love affair, you have to go to the bottom of the page where you can get more specific information and addresses for people who will work with you on a business level. Alright, assuming you found the right person, step number 2 is follow directions exactly. Every business has their own structure when it comes to handling clients, artists, and people of interest. But this isn't just in music, this is in every organization or corporate entity that you would have to apply to for a job, a grant, a contest, or to get any kind of help for any proposal that you may have. Bottom line is you can be the best in your field, but if you do not follow the direction and the rules that the corporation has specifically set, you will be thrown in a pile with everybody else without another look. If a label tells you to attach specifically 3 music files, MP3 format, with no larger than 3 megabytes, you better attach 3, they better be MP3, and they better be the right size. If a site asks you for band name, location, amount of Facebook likes, album discography, and a 5-sentence bio of the band, then you better include every piece of information in a neat and organized fashion so that you make it as easy as possible for whoever is reading it to help you out. Luckily, Wrecked Radio isn't that specific, but bands still manage to screw it up. Step 3, now that you've found the person and you are reading the directions and the rules and doing what they say, next you're going to present yourself professionally. This doesn't mean be completely devoid of personality when you're writing a letter to somebody who you want to get the attention of, but there is a level of professionalism that you must include for somebody to listen to you and respect you as a professional. If you are a member of the band, you have to realize that you're going to have to step outside that platform of being the songwriter or the singer or the drummer or the guitarist, and you're going to have to be representing your bandmates and yourself on a business level. My suggestion is get a manager if you can. Managers are important to a band for many reasons. One, they worry solely about the business end of the band, while you are concentrating on the important thing, the music. Half the time that I schedule bands on my calendar to be on the show, they fail to produce and send me the materials that I need to make their feature, and they miss out on a completely free and very, very helpful promotion for their band and their music. And that's because they didn't have somebody that was organized and focused to manage the band's business. The number 2 reason to have a manager is because most likely they will have, depending on who you get, have studied marketing and know how to professionally represent themselves and talk to somebody who's in charge. Not to mention they may have already figured out where you're supposed to find these people, which is the first couple steps that I presented to you guys. Band members are passionate and willful about their music, but when it comes to speaking to somebody on a business level, they have to be objective and clearly and accurately represent the band as a company, as a product. If you do decide to represent yourself as the manager of your band, you have to realize you're taking on twice the amount of responsibility in promoting yourself, meeting deadlines, dealing with business-related obligations, and representing yourself and your bandmates professionally, all the while you're trying to actually play in the band. So now that you've got those 3 basic steps down, now I'm going to give you a couple tips on representing yourself and promoting your music. Tip number 1, if you want to get the attention of a record label or another website, do not comment, message, or spam in a place where fans, viewers, or other non-artists are using the site. For example, the comment section beneath my videos on YouTube, or my Twitter, or my Facebook, where I am trying to connect with the viewers and the fans. It is not the appropriate place in having viewers or fans trying to see you do business, or even some artists begging for promotion is not professional at all. Even if I would see you, I would pass you over just because you weren't serious or responsible enough to contact me in the right place in the right manner. Tip number 2, do not wait for somebody to discover you. I have a lot of bands email me thinking that I would know who they are, but newsflash, there are as many bands out there trying to make it as there are 13-year-old girls thinking that they're going to be the next big pop star. If you want to be one of those bands that equate to MCR or 30 Seconds to Mars, or any of those other ones that have their own acronym, you have to exhaust every option. Post your music to every artist profile, contact every radio station, send your demo to as many labels where the genre applies, and try to get on every web show or web blog that you can. You have no idea, big or small, who will be watching and who your next biggest fan could be, or who the next person who's interested in big business with you could be. But to follow that up, tip number 3 is to familiarize yourself with every organization that you're actually trying to work with. I'm not saying to become a full-blown expert on the history of every record label or website that you're trying to get in contact with, but make sure you know how they basically run, who they're representing, and what they're all about. Usually bands that contact me have seen an episode or 2 of Wrecked Radio and can specifically ask for the feature that you guys see at the end of most of our episodes, which is very helpful to me, and to the point we're saving a lot of time, and I know that they're very interested in being on Wrecked Radio. But if a band has simply been referred to my email address and they don't know what Wrecked Radio is, and they don't know that it's a web show, and they don't know who I am, I can usually tell. To remind you of what we talked about before, if a website has an FAQ section or a Q&A section, please read it. Websites have specifically set up this page so that they will save time on your end and theirs, and they're not being redundant and bored to death by you asking the same questions and not knowing what's going on. Last tip I think that I can think of at the moment is grammar and spelling. You might not have thought that your English classes or your basic, spelling classes would matter, but when you're trying to be professional, make sure to edit your letters so that you're looking like you know what you're talking about and that you can actually fend for yourself in speech. And that gets really annoying to somebody who has to sit through email after email, and when I don't know what you're saying, I can't help you. I hope you found this video informative. this is what I can think would be most helpful. But if you have any more questions, or if you think something that I've said is out of place or wrong, if you are working with a professional label and would like to give some tips or you know, correct me in some way, you can put in the comments below, and I might even make another video to follow up and give more information or corrected information if sites do it in another way that I'm unaware of. Thank you guys so much. I will see you in the next video.